Hey, I'm John F. Keatley. Welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, the first ever episode of Massachusetts Insanity, we bring you the dichotomy between progressives' religious fervor for electric vehicles versus the reality of how dangerous it is to actually live in some of Boston's neighborhoods. Let's take a look at an article from WBUR, the public radio station here in Boston, talking about equity and EV charging stations, because that's the most important thing. For EVs to take off, Boston needs more equitable placement of chargers. From WBUR, as we said. So here's this little lady here in Roslindale. She wants to charge up her electric vehicle, but she's gotta drive across town because there's not enough electric vehicle stations. Charging desert. Let's get down to the money quote here. Far from downtown, other neighborhoods could be considered charging deserts. Mattapan, we're going to talk more about Mattapan in this video. Hyde Park, Roslindale only have 2 charging stations, and West Roxbury only has 1. Let's go back to the map of where there actually is charging stations. You can see these little dots here. These are all downtown, mostly white, mostly wealthy part of the city. And in the hinterlands of the city here, the neighborhoods, not so much. Mattapan, let's pick on Mattapan because as some of you know, I'm actually originally from Mattapan. And I lived there as a little kid, and my family is from there. So let's take a look at Mattapan. There's only 2 charging stations. It's a charging desert. And I know, that's awful, isn't it? If you buy your electric vehicle, there's basically no place to charge it because the chances of you being able to charge it at home in your multi-dwelling unit are slim. But don't worry, it won't take long before the Massachusetts legislature actually mandates that all new housing units have a charging station. I mean, that's just around the corner. We all know that's coming. Now, here's a picture of Wesley Sanders in Jamaica Plain charging his EV vehicle. By the way, Jamaica Plain, if you can't tell by just looking at Wesley, it's kind of like a hipster neighborhood, just to let you know, if you didn't know that. It ends up that most of the benefit from state grants and from electric vehicles altogether go to wealthy, probably white people. I know, that's hard to believe. Here's a map from the Streets blog of Massachusetts that shows who got an EV rebate when they purchased their electric vehicle. And if you notice, the darker colors are in the leafy suburbs of Boston, which are typically white, not universally. There's definitely some exceptions, but typically wealthier and white, and the lighter colors are not so much. Exactly. So most of this benefit is going towards wealthier people who tend to be white, because effectively Metro Boston is an apartheid. And you see this in a lot of other places across the country, but most especially here in Boston, where progressives, what we used to call liberals, have created this balkanized situation where, how do I want to say this? I can't sugarcoat it, where black and brown people live in poverty in the inner city, and they are secure in their separate little communities, which are run by their own selectmen and or mayors, slightly away from the downtown area. So they have their leafy suburbs without many multi-dwelling units, almost all single-family homes, and they're there comfortably because they went there a long time ago, probably driven out of the city by busing from the 70s and other policies. And they're comfortable, but their priority is things that are not relevant to the daily life of living in the city. Let's just take Mattapan, for instance. Mattapan, we'll scroll over here. If you Google Mattapan and then click news, you'll see that the #1 story in Mattapan in the last couple of days has been the killing of a 13-year-old boy. He was shot on the street at 11:30 or 11:20 in the morning on a Sunday morning. On a Sunday morning at the corner of Fremont and Babson Street, which is literally in the shadow of St. Angela's Church, which I know well. I was baptized there. Mattapan's, the old neighborhood for me. And the school is behind it. I don't know if you can see that, but that's the school behind it. That's where my father went to school. My uncle went to school. Like, I know this neighborhood very well. And he was shot right there. Now, he wasn't actually from Mattapan. He was from Norwood. Which is a significant distance away. I don't think it would be something that he would have biked to, as a 13-year-old boy. God bless him. Rest in peace. Can't imagine the anguish for his family, parents. They have not gotten to the bottom of it. They're investigating. But it does appear that he was targeted at that intersection that Sunday morning, January 29th. The article about the EVs at the radio station, WBUR, which is almost exclusively listened to by white people, right? This is the white progressive channel in Boston on the radio, ran February 2nd. What people are concerned about in Mattapan is the safety of their children on the street. The safety of themselves as parents, the safety of everybody on the street. That is the number one priority. But as liberals or progressives have done for decades, they're going to tell the African-American community or Latino community, the Creole community, the Haitian community, what they need. And they need electric charging stations for their vehicles, which they can't afford anyways. Generally speaking, because who can afford one anyways? No matter who you are, these things are expensive. Right? Now, fortunately, I did check out this. The poor young man who lost his life, he was within a quarter-mile walking distance of the local electric vehicle charging station. And if there was more electric vehicle charging stations, I don't know, maybe he wouldn't have been shot. Awful. It's just like heartbreaking. And we should all know this young man's name. Tyler Lawrence. Tyler Lawrence, we pray for his family and his parents. Progressives or liberals, if you want to call them that, have created the conditions so that effectively places like Mattapan are extremely dangerous. Whether it's loan programs that were meant to help people out. We're going to help you, but we can only give you the loan program, the beneficial loan program in this one little neighborhood. We're not going to allow you to buy a house wherever you want. Oh, no. We're going to stick you in this one little neighborhood, which was actually Mattapan in the late 60s, or school busing, or the war on poverty, which has absolutely positively killed American families, especially African-American families. Whatever it is, liberals or progressives are constantly coming up with ideas to fix the problem, but none of that ever has to do with welcoming them or to their community, right? Right. Do they want to build multi-dwelling housing in Weston? Hell no. No, they want to keep their neighborhood, like Weston, as lily white as possible. They don't actually want to live next to people that are black and brown or whatever color from the rainbow you want to suggest. They don't want to do that. They just want to give you equitable EV charging stations. That will solve the problem. These people, these progressives, they say they're fighting racism, but they're actually the most racist people in America. From Plymouth, America's hometown, I'm John F. Gately in Massachusetts, behind enemy lines. Have a great day.